Hello, you're joining us for the react to Everton's loss at Brentford. We'll get straight into it. I'm with Ryan here. He's just come from the game. Ryan, what's your thoughts?
Well, my first thought is why are you sat in the dark? Do you want
I
a
know.
light on of some description? I'm coming away from the ground now. The away atmosphere was absolutely toxic. It was horrendous to be in that away end. People are calling for Rafa's head now. I think there's growing impatience. There's no goodwill being afforded to Rafa Benitez now. I mean, I'm pragmatic enough to know that I don't think there's anyone who can do much better job. But right now, because it's difficult to know what to say. I'll be honest with you because I've become used to it now. So I'm mellowed to the defeat, and it's more of an anger now. It's more of an anger because there's just no plan. And the fans in the away end were furious. Singing the Fat Spanish Waiter songs, asking for the kids. I mean, sitting with a group of people, very nice, but all they're talking about the whole time is get the kids on. Throw Ellis Sims on or what? Rondon, giving Rondon an Iwobi abuse, and I'm like, I don't think Iwobi was the worst of them. But it's really hard, David. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, I've got a lot of questions and I've got no answers to them. And I don't think throwing the kids on, it's just desperation, isn't it? Just desperation. Don't know whether my microphone's being picked up at all.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just like very muffly and bubbly and very annoying.
Just desperate, really. I felt like Everton were just relying on the same thing over and over again, which was that one tactic: get it to Anthony Gordon, cut onto his right foot, pass it inside. I can't recall Everton having a shot in the entire game on target. Didn't test the keeper once.
We had 5 shots on target, I think. They had 4. We had, I think, 12 or 13 attempts, most of them off target, of course. Mostly in the second half. First half, we didn't create anything.
I'm going to say something. People won't agree, but I thought Brentford were poor. I think Brentford were there for the taking. I felt like in spells we were far the better team. People on that way end at the end of the game, the players came over and kind of like Everton fans were saying, come. And they come over and, the players are just stood there looking at us, hands on hips, lost for words, didn't say anything. And people are putting 2 fingers up at them, and there's no need for it to get like that because it doesn't help things. You can boo, you can shout, but putting fingers up at the players, and Coleman's just stood there and he's like, arms out, doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what to say, doesn't know what to do. And in the end, some of them start applauding. I don't know whether it was like a sarcastic applause. Godfrey stopped. Godfrey stopped and just kind of like hands on hips. And then eventually Coleman, as the club captain, he's putting his arm up, he's touching the badge, and he's like apologising. Like, I don't know what to say because
it's not good enough.
Tactically, there wasn't really a plan, David. I mean,
no, I've got that written down.
What was the plan? It was very much get it to Gordon, but the pass was always quite late. It was never an early ball. Overplaying it, trying to cut inside on his right foot, pass it inside, work it to the other flank. No flair, there's no creativity, and there's no movement up front. We've got a striker that turns.
At all.
He turns like a Dalek. It's like a Cyberman up front, honest to God.
Fucking tight.
And I feel sorry for him now, because if he was a cat or a dog that wasn't well, he'd be put down because he really is.
I thought Rondon wasn't bad today compared to what I've seen him in the past. He looked a bit more sharp, and he looked like if you give him half a chance, he will put a shot on target. But I mean, he did have a very good chance in the first half, which got saved by the keeper. He was probably at the other end of the pitch, so you might not have seen it. But
Well, we had the sun in our eyes most of the game. Very difficult. Sorry, most of the first half. So I assume we lost the toss because we wouldn't be stupid enough to play against the sun. What I would say, how... I've lost my thought, David. It'll come back to me.
no, it's the whole idea of, in an attacking sense, where does the play go? There is no patterns of play. There is no idea. I'm not sure what the philosophy is, and that is really concerning because they've had 7 games now without, Calvert-Lewin, and we've had injuries where we've not put passes together and we've not looked like really scoring that much. I mean, it was today we couldn't hit barn door up front.
It felt like no matter how many chances we would score, we many chances we'd get, we'd never score. In a month of Sundays, we could play all night, we wouldn't have scored. It was one of those days, and I felt like we played into Brentford's hands at times. I want to say Decore was poor in the midfield. Things were passing him by. No one's willing to run at anyone. No one's willing to run beyond anyone. No one's making runs in behind. This is actually the hotel the players were at before, the Clayton Hotel in Chiswick, where I greeted them, and I said to you before the game that the players looked nervous, getting on the bus. Michael Keane giving like a bit of a sympathetic sort of smile, and I sense that something isn't quite right within the camp. They were very quiet. They didn't say a word to us. Could say thank you for your support, or how are you, or I just felt very, very quiet. And I summed it up. Are we void of confidence? We're playing extremely shy football now. That's how I describe it. It's like a shy football. No one's willing to make anything happen. And it's only a matter of time before Rafa Benitez, his position becomes untenable now.
No, it's a difficult period coming up. Very difficult with Liverpool, Arsenal, Leicester, Chelsea to come in the next 2 weeks.
I mean, feasibly, it sounds bad, but this team is no better than anyone else. I'm saying it right now. They're not good. You had a little bit of creativity and a little bit of passing and a little bit of goal threat in Sigurdsson and James. You've lost them. And now you're relying on the width, and we haven't got clinical wingers. We just haven't got it. And we haven't got a plan B when things don't quite work. I think he wanted Arabia in the hole, dropping in, overloading the flanks, but it didn't work. He was just occupying the same space that Anthony Gordon wanted to be in. You're talking about a difficult period. I'd go beyond that and say if he loses on Wednesday, and the Liverpool fans are singing his name, he'll be sacked. But I don't necessarily think that's what the board would want to do. Because my question is, who would you get in? Excuse me. It's not COVID. I'm passing it back to you. No. I think I've got a bit of a cough. I can't see.
No, I get what you're saying. If he loses on Wednesday, he's under immense pressure there. I mean, it'll be the manner of the loss. If we do lose, that will have a big difference, though. If we go down 1-0 and it's scrappy, it's a big difference to if we go down 3-0. So we'll have to see how it plays out on Wednesday.
And what I was going to say was, there's no one to bring in to replace him. He needs to be judged in a more fair environment, which would be with the transfer budget, with his players, to see if we can implement something, because we saw some signs at the start of the season that maybe he could do something with everyone fit. Questions need to be asked. How we've come into this position where we're going to Brentford, it's a nice stadium in London, no disrespect, but small club. I'm saying it now, it's a small club. Stadium's packed in the middle of nowhere. Small stadium, small club, newly from the Championship. I don't think man for man, 1 to 11, on paper they're any better than us, Brentford. I'd go as far to say that in every position we've got better players, apart from maybe Ivan Toney today. But to come into this where I'm doing these reactions where I'm coming away from the fifth. I've been to the away game 5 times this season, and I think I've been to every home game, maybe one a miss. I don't know where to go from here. If you want to bring the comments in, I've got Kevin Bracey, Tim, Barry, Will, Jason, do you want to go to them?
Yeah. I'll go back from the start. I hope everyone's still watching who put in comments. We've got Jason. Do we have to follow Everton? Well, Jason, please keep follow Everton, the channel. But I don't know about the club. I wouldn't blame you if you take a break from them. You're also saying, Will saying relegation battle is serious now. I hope not. We're getting let down every single week. Well, there's nothing new there, is there? Hello, Dave. Gordon, terrible. Dean, terrible. Defense wasn't too bad. It won't be awful. Rondon wasn't the worst player on the pitch for a change. Says it all. Half fit, Decore was our best player. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it exactly the same as you. And I know Ryan said he thought Decore was poor.
David, the emotion of, it's different watching it on TV to being at the ground. The emotion is different. The angles are different, okay? But my answer to that was, Gordon tried. I don't think he got the ball in advantageous positions. He was given it in silly positions where you had maybe two players in front of him. I feel, where's that comment gone? Didn't work. I mean, you need movement up front. You could slip him in, maybe Rondon, but he doesn't run off the ball. He kind of sticks to someone like glue, like one of the central defenders. Doing terrible. I mean, I'm going to say I don't think the defence was that bad at all. I thought the defence was quite good. I think we handled everything. We handled everything we were asked to do. The set pieces, the throw-ins, the short passes. I didn't think Brentford troubled us. I really going to say that. I think we should talk about the penalty.
There was a couple of poor bits of Everton defending from. There was one, especially from a long throw, and it went straight on his head, and he could have scored. The Brentford player, that was very poor. I mean, sometimes switching off, but most of the game, I thought we were in control defensively. I thought Keane and Godfrey were excellent. You know, they played on the counter attack, Brentford, and we handled pretty much everything. And they were aggressive, and they got in early and won the ball and set us on our way. I don't think that was the problem. It was the toothless attacking play in the final third against the back five.
Even when Gray came on, David, he played some really good crosses across the edge of the box. At least two, I think, of maybe three opportunities where if Calvert-Lewin's in there as a 6'2", athletic player, he's going to score one of them at least. Yeah. I mean, so we have to understand the context of this, that he's still an Everton player. He's going to come back. We'll get better. But I mean it genuinely. If this was the team that was going on now, moving forward for the rest of the season, we'd be relegated.
Yeah.
We'll go down. We'll go down.
Jason said this is the worst in years. I think it is the worst in years, yeah. It's the worst little rut we've had since like a Koeman.
I've seen Koeman 5-0s and 4-0s and 3-0s and Allardyce doing the same, and Silva away from home getting battered.
Yeah, but we haven't. We're about to play Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. You know, I don't see us getting away from that. We just lost 3-0 at City. We could easily get smashed at Chelsea. We have to judge it on its merit.
Well, we'll lose to Liverpool on Wednesday night, and we'll draw against Arsenal. Probably lose to Palace away from home, and we'll lose to Chelsea. I don't know what to say. I think we just got to try and get to January and try and get US on French Farm to sponsor the tea ladies' knickers or something, and try and get some money in somehow.
You're saying fair play to you, Ryan, to go and support.
I've got more Everton gear on than the fucking team bus today, but
he can't take much more. I know. Yeah. It's bad because I'm sitting there knowing going into the game, not expecting us to get anything, and coming away from the game thinking, well, that was exactly what I thought was going to happen. And that is really concerning. Really concerning.
If we didn't laugh or cry, I really don't know what to say in terms of there's no right or wrong answer with the sacking. I don't think it achieves anything. I think, how are we going to put a plan together? We're not good at anything, David. We're not good at set pieces, really. We're not good on the counter attack. We're not good in transition. We don't switch the play well. We don't.
I think you've broken up. I don't know if anyone can hear him anymore, or is it my Wi-Fi? He's gone. Okay, I mean, he might join us again in a second. Let's keep going with the comments. Dave saying, why do we keep playing shit for the first 45 minutes, then decide to give it a go second half? It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. I agree. We were much better in the second half. I don't know how Ryan saw it, obviously, in the ground, but I thought we were much, much better in the second half. We were very poor in the first half. But at the end of the day, we lost to the penalty. We didn't lose to any great amount of, a good opportunity that they carved out and scored. It was
margins.
Townsend trying to clear the ball, and that's it. Your penalty's down, and it makes you think, well, how do you clear the ball? You don't want to be scared to go for the ball and clear it, but if someone just sticks their foot or their head in, they're going to win a penalty regardless.
Also, the fine margins. It's that's what it comes down to. You're talking about a set piece goal or a penalty or a moment of brilliance, but it's always going to come down to fine margins. Right, absolutely. Do you want to it?
No, I just want to go home, mate.
I think everyone's fed up.
Oh no, it's a nightmare. Well, did you see the penalty, or what were your thoughts on that?
I thought it happened really quick, the penalty, the incident, and I couldn't really see it. I heard that he kicked his knee or kicked his chin or something.
Yeah, Townsend's going for a ball that's dropping just to sort of clear it, whack it away, and a player kind of leans in and pushes himself in the way, and he catches him as like a high boot. So he gives a penalty. The VAR, that's 3 matches in a run we've had the VAR come and do something to the penalty, and everything seems to go against us with refereeing decisions.
Can't hear him at all. Hang on.
You can't hear. Looks very dark.
Has Mabsy launched himself off a bridge? Someone said. Feel like it. He says he feels like it.
That's Dave, yeah.
The penalty
was a good bridge to launch myself off and not do it.
I'm just going to reconnect, David, my headphones. I thought I could hear you, but I can't.
Okay. Let me see where we are in the comments.
David said we weren't that bad.
Dave, too many hit and hope balls from defence. Yeah, exactly. I hate it. I hate it. It frustrates me. I'm sitting at the computer and Coleman's whacking these balls. Godfrey won't control the ball. He just straight off whacks it back in, and you're just like, come on, get the ball down. Don't just hit and hope. It just doesn't go anywhere. Dave saying Anthony Gordon never anticipated at any time crosses coming into the box. Just stuck out wide, not making runs into the box, but petrified to take anybody on. Dean's distribution was shocking again. Yeah, we created nothing really down that side. Dean was probably one of the worst games I've ever seen him, especially that first half. He'd get the ball, he'd shank out a cross. I've never seen him hit crosses so badly, consistently. Very disappointing. I don't know what's happened to Dean at all. And
that was Townsend's worst game.
A few of them had really bad games. A few of them had decent games.
Rondon fucking stays on the pitch.
Well, Rondon actually could have scored. There was 2. He had a good shot in the first half, which came out. He got good control of the ball. He got past the defender, and the keeper saved it. It was a low save. The second half, he hit a good shot. It was going in the corner, but I think Iwobi got in the way and it blocked it. So he looked more dangerous today than I've ever seen him before, but still not amazing. It begs the question when we got to 80 minutes why we couldn't throw Tosin on or someone. Just a bit more support. You look at Damari Gray sticking these balls on a plate across the 6-yard box, and Gordon and Iwobi are just not going to read that. They're not going to get in. As Dave just said, Gordon just sticks out wide. So you've got to get a man on to try and, score. I just don't understand it, whether it's one of the kids or Tosin. It's not good, is it?
I think Iwobi should have come off for Tosin, you're right, or Ellis Sims, and just had another body in there, get on the end of those crosses that Damari Gray was producing.
Iwobi got on the end of a header, but he hit it with his shoulder and it went out. It's things like that. You like if you've got Tosin there, at least he's likely to get his head on it. You know, he might not score, but he can get his head on the end of things. Yeah, Barry, I agree with that.
Well,
I'm saying before about Plan B, but we don't have Plan A, do we? Let's be honest. Plan
we
A
don't have a
relies
plan
on
A, never mind a plan B.
Plan A relies on Calvert-Lewin being in the team and basically all the key players being in the team. I mean, if Richarlison was playing today, even I think we would have scored. There was some good opportunities.
I think they gave us spaces. We were just very wasteful.
Very wasteful.
By the way, if you're watching on Twitter, you can't actually comment. We won't be able to see it, so there's no point. If you want to watch and comment and be interactive, you've got to watch it on Facebook or YouTube.
Got Kevin here. Hi, Kevin. We are just very average players. Gordon is not good enough. Rondon looked a lot better today. Coleman is awful. Alan can't pass a ball. We're in real trouble. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. It really is. I mean, Gordon needs time and he's a key.
Really sad.
If you play him every game, he's not necessarily going to be consistent. Where are we now? Tim says we have to blame the manager. Tim,
we have to blame the manager for that one, someone said.
Tell us why, Tim. Can you summarise why? Because I don't know how much blame you can put at Rafa's door for that one.
But he can't be held accountable for the individual errors like the penalty.
No, and then it's a 0-0 game, isn't it? And we did improve in the second half, which I'm going to put down to the team talk being, helpful. I thought he could have made subs though, and he didn't. Dave, he's saying, I'm nitpicking, but how can the ref book a player for time wasting, which they did most of the second half, and play exactly 5 minutes of injury time? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what they're up to there, but they were time wasting. They kept cleaning the ball and cleaning the ball and cleaning the ball and not throwing it in. There's a terrible thing for me to say that.
What was Sky Sports saying?
It's the red shite. I don't know. They switched straight over to the Chelsea Man U game, and
probably for the best.
Yeah, the commentators basically said Everton just lacked anything like the final third. Like if Calvert-Lewin was in the box, they would have scored. Things like that. That we weren't amazing, but we were better in the second half. We got a bit of tempo, we got a bit of momentum in the second half, and once there was a bit of an injury to Rico and Dean got snapped, then there was a fight. After that fight, we didn't get anything together. We let it rattle.
Is David saying we were good in the second half from the fight. So up until the fight, we had a bit of momentum, and then when Dean got in the fight, it all kind of petered out again.
Brentford were backing off and getting scared, and they looked weak in possession. They were giving us the ball back up until that point. The high press in the second half.
Brentford were giving the ball away.
They were shite, to be fair. We were shite.
My mouse is playing up. This is a terrible thing, but I keep the score against the red shite low. I would take. I don't want to say I would take a 1-0, but if it was 1-0,
don't say anything.
Oh,
David, don't say anything. The Brentford thing is right. They did keep giving us the ball back. We kept winning it back, and we didn't really need the midfield to do that for us. It was Godfrey and Keane actually were winning the ball back, but didn't really go anywhere, did it? They did drop quite deep, Brentford, didn't they?
They did. Dave's saying the penalty's Pickford's fault. I don't remember that in what happened there. I suppose he spilled the ball and Townsend tried.
He punches it, doesn't he? Pickford, he punches it, and Townsend has to try and get the second ball.
You can see confidence is lower than a snake's nutsack. I mean, confidence, it's completely shot. It doesn't exist. Dave's also saying that we are just too slow with the build-up. Brentford kept giving us the ball and we kept knocking it sideways and backwards. I think there was a time where we got a bit of tempo together in the second half, but it just never came to anything. There was never really a clinical opportunity, or you never felt convinced we would score, especially when the crossing was so poor today off Townsend and he got taken off. And Dean, there are two main crosses of the ball, and was very poor.
Yeah.
Will's saying the setup's diabolical from Rafa. These are the same group of
Hey
players who
Siri,
let
play
down
Talk
three
Sport.
managers. It's more than a manager's problem overall, in my opinion. Yeah, I do think it's the players, not the manager, and I wouldn't be sacking Rafa at this stage. I think we've got to get some players back and then judge him and give him the transfer window. Dave saying, don't understand why he took off Townsend. Yes, he wasn't the best, but he should have taken off Gordon and played Gray on the left to have a go at them down the left.
No, it's just more of the same. It would have
I
just been more of the same, that
think he
cutting in
took
on
him
the
off.
right.
I think he came off because he was on a yellow card more than anything. And Brentford were toshed, Will says.
Yeah, Brentford were tosh. I agree.
Dave saying it was a weak punch for the penalty. I wrote down some of the things myself. I've got penalty written down. We've kind of touched on that. Then Rondon had a shot that should have really scored, but the keeper saved it. Decore I put down. He did. I know why you're saying he had a poor game, because he lost possession quite a few times in the first half and he looked shaky and rattled. But actually, when you watched it
He
on the
was
TV,
anonymous.
right, actually, he stopped them scoring a second goal. He tracked the man. He wouldn't see him
Yeah.
on a replay, but he continued.
I did see that. I did see that.
And he did a few things like that. That was the best one he did. But he was doing the defensive work as well as trying to help out in an attacking sense. And he was really important to have him back in there. And hopefully he'll be more up to speed as the week go on. There was an incident with a shirt pulling in the box. I don't know if you saw that one. Rondon's completely shirt pulls up, and Decore comes in. Cross comes in. Decore has a shot, and it's blocked by Rondon, and he's getting his shirt pulled down, and it ends up with him blocking it. I thought that was very dubious. I mean, if they're giving away penalties for just trying to clear the ball, then how are we not getting penalties for blatant shirt dragging? And then I got second half. Yeah, we put them under pressure. I was impressed for about 10 minutes, which is not enough time to be impressed for in a game. But you got the likes of Michael Keane and Godfrey. They were nicking in, winning the ball, setting us up on the counter attack. We had a couple of sort of 3v2s and 2v2s on the break, which we should have done better with. Iwobi got a tame shot off at the end of one of them. It was poor.
I remember that as well now.
I mean, I thought generally that the backline were good. And I thought Keane, his distribution and Pickford were excellent today. Keane was hitting really long, raking passes out wide, and I don't think he hit a bad one the whole game. I can't complain defensively. It's just not enough up front. And hopefully, Richarlison coming back in we'll see something different on Wednesday. We'll see clinical edge. Have you got any more thoughts? Have we got one more comment?
No,
from Dave?
I think yeah.
All the Sky Sports said it was a penalty, but once again, our players said fuck all to the ref. Yeah, it's this whole thing about being too soft, isn't it? Not speaking up. There was a few times where the Brentford players got injured, and I was quite pleased to see that we carried on playing. Let's not be soft. Let's take the game to them. If they don't want to kick the ball out, then we shouldn't kick the ball out. And then, we've got to stand up for ourselves and be aggressive.
Yeah, I did notice that we kicked the ball. We kicked the ball out for them at one point, and then they kicked the ball out for us at one point, and then we didn't do it back for them.
Well, I think because the Brentford player had the ball and he didn't kick it out, and then when we got it, we didn't.
And then when we had a chance, so they had an opportunity to kick it out themselves first.
Yeah, and they didn't do it, and then it's caused a big fight. Yeah, we need that aggression. Against Liverpool, we're going to need to be really aggressive. And with this crowd being so toxic, as you said, and it was really quiet at the Etihad last week, people just expecting us to get thrashed and being silent about it. Goodison needs to be loud on Wednesday.
In 4 miles, take exit 3 onto A312 towards Hayes.
Okay. ranted our frustration away, but we've got to
Yeah.
end this. We've got to end this winless run because it's a disaster. Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. All right.
All right.
See you
Thank you,
later.
everyone, for the comments. We're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully, you'll enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you later, mate. Bye.
Bye.